then it can be seen to be logically true. However, when someone makes a supernatural truth claim, there is nothing like that. There is no test, no method, no evidence, no theory, nothing. Just people who make a claim, and it is neither provable or disprovable, which is my justification.
We're going in circles. This is the third time you've repeated this.
Yep, because I
You're
know you want to
supposed to be
accept
proving
it.
that it's not possible for these things to occur. You're supposed to be proving it's not possible for these things to occur. Not proving that they're not verifiable. Appealing to that you cannot know these things happened does not entail that they cannot happen.
Yeah,
I don't think Bubba's
You just say a
saying
different
that.
argument.
He's giving you a criteria of what he needs to believe that something happened. Not that it's possible or not possible. That's what he's saying.
You're just not giving an argument that's irrelevant to my question.
You're just not accepting.
I'll grant you for the sake of argument that we cannot know these things occurred.
Oh, okay, cool.
But you're not proving that these things are not possible.
I was just like, if you said that we can not know that these things occurred, then you accept my premise entirely. Then we don't really.
You don't understand. I'm granting you this for the sake of argument because it's not irrelevant to my question. Let's say for the sake of argument that we cannot know these things occurred. That does not entail they cannot happen. You're not proving that they cannot happen.
Just because and you're right, just because when you say that, just because I haven't witnessed it, that doesn't mean that it can't happen. This is true. However, I don't believe that supernatural things can happen just because I have not witnessed it. It is a lot more than that. My worldview is formed by a lot more than what I have witnessed. You know that, and that's an academically honest thing to say. My worldview is...
Okay, but you haven't said any argument about any rule of inference to prove your conclusion yet.
I said it, but...
Yeah, acting as though I'm missing the point.
I said it, you're just not accepting it.
Stop.
I'm not stopping.
Stop.
I'm not just gonna conform to whatever you tell me to stop.
Now you're just quibbling. You're just trying to prevent me from replying to you.
Because you repeat the same
argument. You're not saying an argument about any... You're still just quibbling to prevent me from replying. You are not...
View is formed by many other things, such as morality, fear, social interactions. These are all things that come from my conditioning, not just what I have witnessed through my sense perception. It's
irrelevant.
How?
It's irrelevant. The fact that you have other aspects of your worldview has no bearing on this specific issue.
You're asking me how I'm able to justify it. The answer is through my conditioning, which is more than my sense perception, because you don't accept just my sense perception.
What does your conditioning have to do with you proving the conclusion that it's not possible for paranormal miracles to occur?
Because that is how your worldview is formed. My worldview that supernatural things cannot occur comes from the conditioning, which is the if you know what conditioning is, it's the way that your brain was kind of developed to believe certain things as you were raised up until this moment. So the reason
that doesn't prove that they're not possible to occur.
I know, and I say that, and I know, and I say that they are, and I say that they are impossible based off my worldview, which is from my conditioning. And you just don't.
So given that you have your worldview that has this negation, therefore it's impossible. That's a very arbitrary.
I know. I say that it is impossible, and you just don't accept it. That's why I am saying this to you.
So you just don't have an argument then.
Right? I did have an argument. I did have an argument. I did have an argument.
Keep talking back at me,
Gregory. I did have a point. You were not listening.
Right? You're obfuscating.
I'm not at all.
Now. You're obfuscating. I'm going to reply now. You're acting as though telling me, well, it's a part of my worldview, is actually proving that these things can't happen. Just because you believe it doesn't mean that it can't happen. This is literally begging the question.
And I explained exactly why, but how other truths can be proven and tested with theory and all under their own laws under the subject that we're talking about, whether it's logic, history, mathematics, or whatever. And I said supernatural truth claims don't have such tests or theories or evidence or anything like that. It's literally
irrelevant.
It's the exact answer to the question that you are not accepting.
It's literally irrelevant.
And
Let's
I
say
know
for the sake of argument that we cannot verify these things occurred. That does not entail they're impossible.
Yeah,
I know. An argument that actually proves that they're impossible, and you have not done that.
Yes, I have. You just don't accept it, and now we're going in a circle, Gregory.
No, you haven't. All you've said is you can't verify that they occurred, or I believe them in my worldview. That's not a verification of your conclusion.
Here, I will respond to every single problem that you've had with so far. The reason that I justify it is for what I just said. The truth claims that I don't believe in supernatural because it is not. There's no evidence, no test, no method, no theory. That is my justification. The reason that I'm able to justify it. I'm going to. Are you going to let me finish, Gregory? Are you going to let me finish, Gregory? Or are you going to be the one that's going to keep on fucking interrupting me?
That doesn't entail they cannot occur.
I know.
Stop repeating that.
I know. And are you going to let me finish, or are you going to just keep on fucking interrupting?
No, then stop repeating that.
Because you are not listening, Gregory. The reason that I'm able to justify that is from my worldview, which stems from my conditioning, and that's why I'm able to say that it is not possible, but you don't accept any of those things, so we're just going to keep going in circles.
Right. Just saying that it's part of my worldview is not a verification of your premise.
Yes.
Just saying that I believe that in my worldview does not prove that it's actually impossible. So stop repeating these appeals.
It's justified to me. It's not to you. That is the issue that we're having.
Oh
Right, you believe
man.
it, I don't. That's not a justification. That's not a verification.
It's a
You
justification
don't
to
actually
me.
know how to prove that it's impossible.
It's a justification to me.
Oh, but
It's
this
just
is one of the worst arguments I've heard from you.
how.
You're better than
This is
this.
god awful, dude.
Sure, go ahead. I would love to
yeah,
talk to
so-
Prometheus.
When you're supposed to justify a belief that you have, saying, well, it's justification for me but not for you, what you're really saying is it's convincing for me but not convincing for you. Whether you're convinced of your own justification or not doesn't mean that
Right.
it's necessarily true.
Yeah. So,
Right.
yeah, I can just clarify again. I'm not saying that I don't believe in supernatural claims, supernatural truth claims, just because what exactly? Just like it's based on my perception of reality, they can't be true. That's not what I'm saying. I gave a very fleshed out. I'm not sure if you were here, but I gave a very fleshed out reason as to why other truth claims, such as logical truth claims, mathematical truth claims, scientific truth claims, they all have a type of method that they go through. Scientific method, where you analyze the data and come to a conclusion, or historical truth, where you apply some tests and you come to a conclusion. These are all ways that you are able to come to some type of truth claim, and you're able to test it, you're able to verify it, and it can be seen as true or false. Supernatural truth claims have no such reasoning. Supernatural truth claims are basically just like, for example, you witnessed a miracle, or you saw an angel, or God spoke to you, something like that. That's great for the individual, but they are not able to prove or show, or it's just not provable or disprovable. That was my justification, not the other thing about just because I haven't witnessed it, just because that means it didn't happen. That's what.
Wait, so let me get this straight. So the only
I think it's really
accounts.
misinterpreted.
One second. Anyways, and distinguish them into different categories. I think that's the real assumption here.
So, for example, if you make a historical truth claim about something that happened in the year 500 AD in Greece, and you say that a dragon flew overhead, the reason that you're able to like justify flushing that down the toilet is because dragons do not exist in reality. Just like how, and the more overarching topic when I was originally talking to Matt was the reason I'm able to kind of flush down that a man was able to resurrect from the dead 3 days later is because that just can't happen in reality. Same with the dragon.
Okay, so. Okay, right, and then I guess Gregory would ask the question, why can't that happen? Why is that logically impossible? And I guess you would respond inductively by saying that we just haven't observed any dragons or any men resurrecting from the dead, right? Okay.
More or less.
So okay, so you're implying the inductive principle to historical accounts. My issue is I don't think people really have a justification for why certain things in history should be aired out based upon our inductive knowledge versus other statements, right? So like let me try to explain what I'm saying. Somebody in like the 500s makes a statement about science. Like if you read Aristotle's Metaphysics, people believe that the earth was flat.
Yep.
Right. Well, he believed that it was a sphere, but some people believed it was a flat terrain.
Sure.
But now, via our inductive principles and our reasoning, we can now know that the earth is a sphere and it's not a flat terrain. So I guess you're applying that same inductive principle to also some man resurrecting. Now, whether I'm not saying you're supposed to accept that or not, but my point is that to get people to accept like the claim of the resurrection, for example, and its historical accuracy, I think that it requires their personal inductive experience to see that as well, or to see something that could show that account to be truthful, right? And that's basically what converted all of the Roman Empire to Christianity, was miracles after miracle after miracle happening that's been accounted all throughout history, right? So on one hand, I can see where you're coming from, which is like, dude, you're just stupid. No men resurrect from the dead. We inductively know this, and we can judge your claims based upon what we already inductively know and what in our explanatory power in my worldview that I already have. But on the other hand, there's also some people that do have a personal experience of said thing,
Yep.
or have right to believe in said thing. So when you're really judging a worldview based upon induction, it's more about historical accuracy than rather if it's logically true or false. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Here, I'll respond to you, but right now I have to go see my
Okay.
wife about something.
Okay.
Okay, so what he has not done, and for some reason we're letting him escape.
I'm not
He
letting
has
him
not
escape. What I
actually-
just brought up was not letting him escape.
What he
I
has
just
not
said
done is to actually give a logical argument that
that's what I just said.
paranormal miraculous activity is not possible. He doesn't even understand the profundity of saying something is not possible. What he needs to do is give an a priori, logically sound deductive argument, and he has not done that. All he's appealed to, we cannot know that they occurred, and even if I grant him that premise, it still doesn't follow to his conclusion. There are plenty of things
That
that we
it's
cannot.
logically impossible, right? And that's the point that I was. The inductive principle that he's using, right, is different from whether it's logically possible or impossible. I think he's. I think it's more improbable, right? But it doesn't really prove that it's
Which is
logically impossible.
exactly the point. Like it's a paranormal miracle.
I disagree.
Of course, it's improbable. That's the whole
Yeah,
point.
Bubba doesn't even know what
Right.
he's talking about.
And I don't think
Matt,
that
you dick.
Christians would disagree that it's improbable. I really don't think they would
And,
disagree.
Yeah, I know. It's the thing is, I say the same thing, and I kind of feel like an asshole whenever I say it, especially for people that had some type of really life-changing revelation of some sort about God. Is that's great for the people that have like witnessed some type of miracle or angel that really was supernatural. However, that's not.
robotic.
It's still not. Oh, my bad. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you're
That's
fine.
it.
You're fine. You're fine.
The that's great for the people that have experienced some type of supernatural miracle of some sort that really changed the perception of reality. Like, that maybe they witnessed God, maybe they saw something divine from their perception. But that is two things: one, not provable or disprovable, and I've said that a lot. And again, that's like doesn't work for someone who's secular and skeptical that it really did happen. Like there could be a different explanation of some sort.
Right,
It doesn't make any
and what
sense. It's not
you're
meaningful to say that
okay.
it doesn't work.
The last proposition that I brought up was what you are saying is distinct from whether something is logically impossible or possible.
Yes.
Right? Because so what you're saying is that it's improbable, and I don't think any Christian, not that they are impossible claims. And the point that I made was that when you're using an inductive principle, that's concerning what's probable or less probable, right? It's concerning, will the future resemble the past, for example?
Oh, yeah, hold
Is
on.
it probable that we would expect to see something like this in the future? That's what you do.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, hold on. That my claim as to why I don't believe that supernatural truth claims are true, by supernatural claims are true, had nothing to do with proving if it was impossible or improbable. It was the reason or the justification as to why I don't believe them. The justification was there is no
Completely
method.
fallacy.
There was
Earlier
no
you said they're
there was
not
no
possible.
method. Greg, are you gonna interrupt me or are you gonna let me finish?
You're doing the Mott and Bailey.
Are you?
said they're
Oh, so
not
you're gonna interrupt?
possible.
Okay, cool. I'll let you finish. You
You
don't
said
let
they're
you don't let
not
me finish, so I'll let
possible.
you finish.
Like you're just moving the goalpost. You said they're not possible. You said that.
Let Bubba go. Let me speak.
Thank you, Gregory, for interrupting me. And the reason that I justify through my worldview is that the supernatural claims are not. There's no method or test or evidence or theory that can make these truth claims that people say that they saw shown to be real or proved. So I
understand.
Yep, I just want
He's
to say
pulling
that.
a Mott and Bailey. He's
Remember-
changing his conclusion because
Nope.
he knows he
I
can't
think
Bubba,
consistent.
continue.
carry the burden
Are
of
you-
verifying the premise.
Yeah, I was more or
that
less
they're
done.
not possible.
Okay, were you done with your statement, or did you want to continue a
Yep,
little
more or
bit?
less done. I will add on, since Gregory is contending again, that I've been very consistent this whole time. When you were asking for a justification, I said the exact same thing now that I said about 10 minutes earlier. And it wasn't to...
No, you
and
didn't. You said
sure
they're
did.
not possible, and now you're
so-
changing your concluding premise because you know the initial thing that you said, which is far more difficult for you to prove, is actually not tenable. So now you're changing.
I think
your
other
conclusion
people see
retroactively.
the
God raised Jesus from the dead, then your inductive reasoning has to make room for the possibility that a unique event like this could happen.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
can I also include?
I want to.
I want to
I'll
include one
answer.
thing.
Yeah, I'll answer him, but then I'll let you go. It's that that I would accept that Jesus rose from the dead and it was because of God if I accept the premise that God exists and He's all powerful and He's able to do such a thing. And however, I reject that premise, which is why more or less I don't believe that Jesus had to resurrect because of God.
I have money.
For what reason? You know there's
Yeah.
no God. How?
Well, here's the issue. Here's the issue. What he's assuming ahead of time is that he actually has the uniformity of nature and that people cannot resurrect from the dead. I mean, in your world as an atheist, where it really is just time acting on matter, you don't have a basis to assume induction from the past to go that this is always going to occur, that people cannot resurrect from the dead sometime in the future because you can see from the past or the present. What you're trying to do
Oh,
is
it's
you're trying to take this. Well, I'm just saying you're trying to take this thing from I mean the Christian worldview and say, well, we can have the uniformity of nature. We can look at God's creation and go, image bearers, whether they're human, they don't have the power to raise themselves up. They cannot resurrect. Of course, outside of God's power, but your worldview, it doesn't have the capital to say, sometime in the future, we're going to make evolutionary progress to where we would resurrect on will.
Talking that critique. So Bubba has the burden of proving that there's no God. You have to justify that presupposition. Justify your negation.
And Bubba, really quick, if you reject the premise of God's existence outright, then I wonder if the issue isn't the evidence for the resurrection itself.
A fifth fucking time because I might blow my brains out.
He's attacking the resurrection.
Okay.
He's attacking. Yeah, you should watch your mouth. In this room, you're not allowed to curse. But you're attacking the resurrection on the basis that you believe that you have the uniformity of nature and that the idea that humans can't resurrect sometime in the future based on evolutionary pressures would not be a possibility.
Okay, you already told him that, so he just
shut him up.
Oh yeah, of course he's got to shut
Give
down
him the
because
floor to
it
actually say the
sounds
argument
absurd.
for his conclusion, but it sounds like he's just skirting that burden.
Nope.
So it doesn't actually have a justification to believe there's no God.
Yep, Gregory, I gave my justification as to why I don't believe in the supernatural several times. You just don't like it, and it's reasonable to me. It's reasonable to a lot of people. It's just not reasonable to you because you're working under the presupposition that God exists. Simple as that.
Okay, no, it's not as simple as that. Right? I'm going to repeat the refutation to your erroneous reply. You have not actually said any logically sound argument to prove the conclusion there is no God, nor that paranormal activity cannot occur. All you've done is appeal to we cannot know it occurred, which doesn't mean it can't occur. So to move from that premise to your conclusion is a non sequitur. It doesn't entail your conclusion. And to also appeal to, well, I just believe that in my worldview, is to simply beg the question with the ipsy dixit. So no, you have not proved the conclusion.
Ipsy dixit.
And Bubba, really quick, that's not the case when it comes to someone like Hunter. He didn't just presuppose that God exists. He followed the historical implications and came to the conclusion.
Yeah, it's
so,
like that's why I was actually pretty excited when you brought Hunter into the call, and I was excited to talk to you and Hunter, but then Gregory joined, and then it became this.
You don't like it when I speak with my tenacity and my ferocity when exposing your errors. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
You haven't actually given any logically sound argument to prove your conclusion with the rebuttals that I just said to you. So you just keep repeating the same rebuttals that I've already refuted.
Yeah,
We're gonna keep repeating the same refutation to them.
Yep,
well, if
very scary,
Hunter
Gregory,
is
I
able
agree.
to have a conversation,
Before we were able to prove it,
Yeah.
we could prove the Earth was flat ever since the Earth existed and humans lived on it.
Missing the questions.
It's then all right. If I'm missing the question, then how am I missing it? Like, what's up?
So what if here? Maybe this is an easier.
No,
one,
just
right?
just re-ask the question so I can answer it correctly.
So before we had a process of determining one way or another that the Earth was round or flat, right? What you're saying is you couldn't say it was impossible or possible either way, like what the fact of the matter is. If you're saying the fact of the matter is whether the Earth is round.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. It's that since we did not discover the process to determine whether or not the Earth was flat, then therefore it was impossible for the Earth to be round or flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually the best argument I've heard so far. Is that I would agree actually with
He
yes.
went the very opposite direction he should be going.
No. He that's actually makes much more sense than whatever you were saying, Gregory.
Gregor.
Yeah, it makes much more sense than whatever you were trying to say, Gregory. It's that, yeah, so I believe
You
that...
don't even understand what I was saying to you.
Oh, no, I understand every single thing. You just don't accept what I was saying. But the thing is, you are right. I do think that it is impossible to prove supernatural claims. And that is the reason that I believe that they are impossible. Supernatural things are impossible. Which, you know, you can attack me for that belief.
Wait, that's not true.
Your answer literally entails that it's impossible for the Earth to be a ball.
Wait,
Gregor, I'm not doing
Literally
flat Earth
something.
with you. I really will blow
Wait,
my brains out if I do flat Earth
Wait,
with
no,
you.
Greg
I don't
is
think
making
it's
a point. Yeah.
impossible to prove supernatural claims.
As you persevere to
I'm sorry,
condescend to me.
I don't hold to that view.
Yeah, Greg, wait, explicate that because I don't think Bubba. Yes.
He just doesn't get it. Like,
Say it
Nair's
again.
questions to you is, before we could verify the Earth was a ball, does that entail that they'd be mad?
Look, we want to have higher dialogue in here,
Okay.
and part of that is not, you know.
I like it. I like insulting people when I
personal
think
attack.
I do. Well, I do like insulting him just because it really brings out his true
Yeah,
character.
because you're
Well, yeah,
indulging your
I
lust because you're a
know-
reprobate.
Yeah, I know why you love
here.
to insult people, but we're not going to sit here and personally attack people.
Okay, that's fine. The reason that Gregory is very much not correct is because if he was listening, then he would know that I agreed before we had the ability to discover whether or not the Earth was flat or round, it was impossible for us to know whether or not the Earth was flat or round.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
not
that
what
is
he's
what
talking
that is
about.
what I that
No,
is what I
not
said.
an
That's what
epistemic.
he's asking about.
Whoops.
Yeah, not to know whether it was the case, right?
It was say that again. Sorry, my mouse freaked out.
Yeah, I'm not asking you an epistemic question whether it was possible or impossible to know. I'm talking about like the fact of the matter, whether the Earth was
Okay, yeah.
truly round or flat. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can respond to that too. The Earth was always round. I'll say that very loudly for Gregory. The Earth was always round, but it was
Eat the microphone.
at a certain point, it was impossible for us to know whether or not the Earth was round. That doesn't negate the fact that the Earth was round. Now, let me go kind of like back to the original point. Either supernatural things
that's
can't.
Yeah,
I
Justin's
don't.
hot micing.
Yeah,
comparing.
yeah, we need to. Yeah, he's yeah, that's why he's muted. He's hot micing.
Here,
But
Bubba, Bubba,
yeah,
Bubba.
no, don't worry. I really
Logic to
want to
paranormal.
I want to put this back to like the supernatural thing. Like right now, we don't have a way of determining whether or not supernatural things are true or false. So, but the truth is that supernatural things either can occur or they can't occur. But since we don't really have a system in like determining whether or not they are true, we can't possibly know.
You have to remain agnostic. Yeah.
Yeah, I say that that's more or less what I'm saying.
But
I
you
do wanna
say,
know, you
but
said
you
you
say
did.
that
Yeah,
they're
yeah, and
impossible.
Yes, I do say that, and my reasoning, I justify the reasoning as to why. How Gregory doesn't Gregory
it
doesn't
assume
agree.
something? Like it assumes that they're like if God, he committed a supernatural action within.
Put it in the side chat, and I'm probably actually going to concede to Nair because Gregory's reasoning was absolutely terrible. But Nair makes a very good case. Is that yeah, I should
Same reasoning he did.
not even a little bit. The Nair makes a good point.
Nair.
Like I should be agnostic to it and not just outright Gnostic to it and just say like, oh yeah, absolutely it can be impossible. Because that does make more sense, absolutely. And I might even I'll probably even put that on my notes after we're done talking.
Yeah, you need to listen better and turn off your vindictive stupidity.
No, Gregory, you're just a
Well,
condescending douche. Okay.
Like, you need to turn off your vindictive stupidity. I said the exact
Well,
same one.
I would say your worldview is bankrupt to the point that I mean, you can't even. Hold on a second. There's an ambulance coming.
Lego
Tell him to stop.
Okay. Yeah. Get out of the way.
Get better.
I'm trying to drive. Yeah.
Fix your broken leg.
No, I would say your worldview is bankrupt to the point where you can't even do induction. I mean, it's like you're going to appeal to the past to predict the future, but isn't your worldview predicated upon the point where it really is just time acting on matter that you don't truly believe that there's any how should I put it, true natural law, that things are orderly, rather than it's just stuff that's happening, byproduct of other stuff that's happening, and that eventually the right stuff would mix. Eventually, the right stuff would mix, and you would be able to, in fact, resurrect.
Say that
He already
again.
knows this. Like, he's already
No.
done. Like, we've already exposed the fact that his worldview does not have the preconditions for knowledge.
So now that I'm agnostic to supernatural claims, Gregory, would you agree that now it's justified?
Of course not. You're agnostic without knowledge.
I knew it was gonna come out. I knew it was gonna come out right when I asked that question. Greg was just gonna completely be like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, of course not. It can't be. It's not my
Of course
worldview. It's
not.
false."
If you're explicitly without knowledge, that is to say agnostic without knowledge, you don't have a justification for your belief.
I think
You
it's
don't
perfectly
know.
justified to not know. Usually fighting about like kind of like me and Gregory have been this whole time, but like me and I are usually like kind of like angry at each other But the fact that he was able to get me to concede on a point which I actually do now believe is fallacious reasoning, and change my worldview a little bit when it comes to supernatural occurrences, it's commendable.
Oh, but we fight, but you know I love you.
Yeah, douche.
Now, Nick, I hate Nick for sure. I totally dislike Nick.
Yeah, so you're absolutely agnostic about everything, but you don't have any preconditions for knowledge.
Oh yeah, I do. I'm a deist. God get. Oh, I don't know who muted me, but I was like, yeah, I do. I'm a deist. God granted me knowledge.
Actually, I have a question. How did your deist God grant you knowledge?
He created laws of logic and reasoning, so I'm able to use them.
How did you reason towards your God if he didn't enter his creation?
How do you know you're God?
A God's not personal, but he has the power of creation. He is a sentient being that has, again, the ability of creation. And what's the other thing?
Is God
You just contradicted yourself.
You say you're a deist. And you say you're
You said it's
deist,
not personal, and then called him a personal pronoun, and said that he has sentience.
Okay, then it's a game of semantics that we can get into.
Yeah,
You can just speak whatever you want. You don't have to speak meaningfully and consistently to tell truth.
The prime mover has to. Yes, God is basically the prime mover that has to be uncaused. He has to exist outside of time, and he has to have a will, and he needs to exist with the power of creation.
Okay, so if he's outside of time, then he's not in the present in any sense, so he doesn't exist.
Existing outside of time is another word for eternal.
Bubba, do you get how you have to reach towards a worldview that has a God? Yeah, Bubba, do you see how you have to reach towards a worldview that has a God in order to make sense of things? And it's not just a note out. You're still not making sense of things because I would say it's not even the Christian God. You're creating a God, an idol.
Fipdo, can you build off of my comment that I put in chat?
Yeah, I'll read it out loud.
What was it?
I'll read it out loud. It says, well, I think there's a bit of a contradiction in what you're saying. A deistic God, by definition, doesn't reveal anything to anyone. Deism holds that God created the universe, but then stepped back, leaving it to run on its own without interfering with the affairs of... Yep, I'm just going to read the whole thing. Sorry, Hunter.
That's what I called out. You're calling out...
Oh, sorry. Let me finish.
How do you
Revelation.
know this God?
I didn't say that God gave me a revelation. I just said that he created the laws of logic in order for me to use. Revelation, whether through nature, personal experience, or scripture.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't be able to attribute.
Sorry, I'm trying to read what Matt said. I'm trying to be chaired. Yeah, I need to address 3 of you at once. One of you can only type in the side chat, and then 2 of you are just attacking me whenever I speak.
And then he can respond to
yes, please. Revelation, whether through nature, personal experience, or scripture, is an act of communication, which would imply that God is interested in engaging with us in some way. If you're saying that God has revealed something to you, then you're not really talking about a deistic God anymore. You're describing a God who takes an interest in human beings with interactions within them. Something much closer to a theistic concept. And also, Hunter, I'm not sure, I hope that you were joking when you told me to shut up, because just like, yeah, my bad, bro. Okay. Again, the idea that God created logic and reasoning and science and math and etc. doesn't imply that he gave me a personal revelation. It's not like he spoke to me and told me that the laws of logic exist and I can use them. It's just they exist.
He just uploaded it.
Sure. Yep. He just kind of when he created the universe, he kind of plugged in the laws of logic and then like boom.
But you said this God is impersonable, meaning he doesn't give revelation.
Yeah, I didn't say he did. I'll say it a 5th time. He's like, he didn't give me the revelation.
How do you know about this God? How do you know?
How many times are you going to repeat the circle? Then you cannot know anything, and you didn't get any revelation from it. It's just your
Sure. Again, I'm not saying that God. I'm saying that when he created the universe, he plugged in the laws of logic.
The circle again.
I know, and I will. It's like I don't know what you guys are understanding. It's very simple to understand.
You're not progressing the dialogue.
I'm answering the question that you're giving me. You are just simply not understanding, Gregory.
You're just stultifying. We heard you say that. Then our rebuttal to you is then that entails that you could not know anything. Because he cannot reveal anything.
Yeah,
it's just your theological conjecture.
Let's engage with your worldview really quick. So tell this gospel to somebody who's a child molester.
What
who says the deist God of the universe uploaded into my brain that diddling kids is okay. It's morally neutral.
Engage him.
In fact,
I will.
I'm actually quoting a group. to restrict children from sexual activity with adults is actually imposing on their human rights. As morally neutral or okay.
Fip, respectfully, can we?
You to actually impose
Fip,
on,
respectfully,
well,
can we?
for you to
No,
restrict
Fip, I'm not arguing with you right
their
now.
human rights.
Fip, I'm asking, can we move? Can we not talk about a child molester? Can we talk about something else instead, like a serial killer?
Okay,
that works
this?
better.
How about this?
No, it's for the
Fip.
It's for the sake of my. Fip, listen, it's for the Fip. It's
the
Fip.
God of the universe created all things, uploaded into my brain with this personal revelation. I mean, I don't know. It's not impersonable revelation. Upload into my brain that punching you in the face right now and stealing your keys and taking your car was okay.
Yeah, because this deistic God doesn't give personal revelation.
So you don't know what is or is not just.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I explained why. I said this deistic God is basically a prime mover of the universe. That's what a deism entails.
Okay.
And it has to have 3 qualities. It has to be uncaused, meaning it has to exist outside of time. That's 1. And it needs to have a will. It has to have a consciousness, or a will or a consciousness or a soul, as you would put it, in order to make something happen, right?
Well,
and
the
then
qualifiers don't matter. I'm engaging with your worldview. I'm
explaining
your worldview.
I'm explaining as to
I'm
why.
just adopting it and saying, well, hold on. How do you tell the thief, who's going to tell you that he's a deist too, this God who made the universe uploaded into him, that punching you in the face, stealing your keys, and taking your car and driving off with it was something that was morally neutral or okay?
Because morality is subjective, and the deistic God doesn't reveal anything to you. It just created the universe.
Wait, what about
Simple
laws
as
of
that.
logic? I mean, you
created
said
logic.
You don't know.
Yeah, you can use the
So
laws of logic to reason your way into saying that stealing my keys are okay. But that doesn't mean that, like, morality is subjective. You can think that's
What's
okay.
your argument for that?
It's
For
something
what?
that's assumed by many humans, but you don't. I'm saying as a Christian, I have a basis to believe in laws of logic because they appeal to God's nature. But you, as a deist or an atheist, agnostic, whatever, you appeal to these things.
Yeah, I do. It's God created logic. That's why I'm able to use them. And we've run through it. There's the circle that Gregory hates, but there it is. That's
Okay,
that's why.
Okay, but I'm asking you, how do you know? When somebody asks you, how do you know? How do you know? Because I'm taking your worldview and I'm saying I'm applying it to first the child molester, but then the thief.
Yeah, can we?
Who punches you?
Yeah, use the thief. Yeah, use the thief. For the record, Fipdo, I'm gonna whisper it. The reason that I didn't want to talk about child molesters is because it's for my wife's sake.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so the thief, he punches you in the face, steals your car. Sorry, he's sitting here telling you, in my system, what's uploaded into me is your stuff's actually mine. Like that's what's going through his head.
Yeah, that's
your stuff is mine.
That's a moral. That is a moral truth that the person is making. Yeah, that's a moral truth that the person is making in order to justify what they're doing. And
right, so how do you know what is or isn't just? Say your argument.
Because I believe in subjective morality. I said that like 10 minutes ago.
That's literally a concession to ignorance. If you concede to subjectivism, you're reduced to skepticism. It's just your opinion.
Nope. I base my morality in the time and place I was born in and the way I was raised. Simple as that.
Yeah, so literally an is-ought fallacy and an appeal to majority fallacy.
How? How about what I just said is an appeal to what majority?
I was born in this location and the majority of the people taught me this custom, therefore it is actually just.
That's not an
For all you know, you could be born in that location and those teach you customs and they be unjust.
Someone teaching me that murder is bad is not an appeal to majority. It's just what I was taught.
Right, so it's just merely what you were taught. You don't know the doctrine is true.
I believe it's true based on the way I was raised.
Right, so the is-ought fallacy. I was taught it, therefore it's true.
That's not an is-ought. Taught it is different than it.
It is. You're appealing to what is the case, what happened.
No, Gregory, that's wrong.
What is true or just.
Gregory, that's wrong. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah, you're just waving your hand. So you don't actually know how to debate these issues.
So
if you tell me I was taught A, that doesn't entail that A is true.
I'm going to say the same thing that I say to people that say the things that you just said, which is, okay, if I don't know how to debate them, I've said this to Nair, if I don't know how to debate them, if I am simply uneducated, then why are we having this conversation? You can surely find someone better than me. Then, like, what are we doing here?
Okay, and yeah, I'm exposing your stupidity. So you.
I can't call you stupid, but you can call me stupid. Like, where's that at?
That doctrine A is actually true. Make a better argument.
I've said the reason why morality is justified under a subjective worldview. Also, you're able to call me stupid, but I can't call you stupid, and then it becomes an ad hom and your feelings are hurt. Like, what's up with that?
Exposing your stupidity. So, just appealing to the instance of you being taught doctrine A does not entail that it is true. Make a better argument. Go.
No.
Right, so you don't actually have any better
I
argument
do. I'm just not going to take the attitude. I'm not going to take your sass, Gregory.
Is art a naturalistic fallacy or an appeal to common belief? So
no,
you don't actually know.
No, just because at this point, the reason I'm not going to engage you anymore is because the two qualifiers that I have in order to debate people.
Expose your stupidity.
Nope, it's that I require people to be, one, academically honest, which I think that you have been so far, and also, Gregory, you're going to have to let me finish if you want to listen to me. The other, yes, you do.
Justify any of your moral. You can't tell me that I have to do anything.
Yes, I can.
You don't know what is just or unjust. You don't know what's virtuous or vice. You don't know anything.
Hold on.
Gregory.
And
the reason
we want to keep this conversation afloat. We don't actually want.
Thank you, moderators, for stepping in front of me.
Can I bring up? You're actually making ethical claims here. You're saying he ought to act a certain way.
Yeah.
In a dialogue.
Yeah.
You can't. Let's just say this. You said you can't be. I've qualified you as being dishonest. I'm sorry. Is that wrong from your worldview?
Well, if you think that I've been dishonest so far, if you think that I've been dishonest, then I don't believe that I have. But the thing is, I'm not going to engage with either of you anymore, just because I have two things that I require in order to talk to people. It's that they are academically honest, and the other thing is that they are receptive. Gregory is not receptive to me, neither is Fipdo. So I'm going to fuck off and I'm going to do my research.
Wait, okay. I'm not
being
receptive.
You do that.
I mean, I've engaged with everything you've